Hello and welcome to your PTCB Prep Guide. Today, we're jumping right into a system that is absolutely fundamental for your exam, the musculoskeletal system. This topic is just packed with common medications you're going to see every single day, so really understanding the basics is key to acing those questions. Let's get started.
Our goal here is simple. We simplify all these complicated pharmacy concepts so you can actually understand and remember them, and then walk into that exam feeling totally confident.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the basic skeletal framework. Then we'll dive into how bones are built, how joints work, and the different types of muscles. But here's the most important part. We'll connect it all back to the must-know medications you'll be handling. And we'll wrap it all up with a high-yield review to lock it all in. Okay, let's dive in.
First up, the body's skeletal framework. I want you to think of this as the essential blueprint for the entire body. Getting this structure down is the foundation for everything else we're about to cover. Okay, here's a number that just loves to pop up on exams. 206. That's it. That's how many bones are in the adult human skeleton. Go ahead and lock that number away in your brain. It's a classic PTCB factoid. Now, the skeleton is really broken down into two main parts. You've got the axial skeleton, that's your central core, right? Your skull, your spine, your ribs. And then you have the appendicular skeleton, which is basically everything that attaches to that core. Your arms, legs, shoulders, and hips. Just think of it as the central axis versus the appendages that hang off it.
Let's zoom in on the spine for a second, because this is a really high-yield area for memorization. So we've got 7 cervical vertebrae up in the neck, 12 thoracic in the mid-back, that's where the ribs connect, and then 5 lumbar in the lower back. Below that, you have the fused sacrum and coccyx. Knowing these regions, and especially the numbers, is pretty crucial.
Okay, let's move from that big framework down to the cellular level. It's so important to remember that bones aren't just, dead scaffolding. They are living, dynamic tissues that are constantly changing and remodeling themselves.
The two star players here are osteoblasts and osteoclasts. And I've got a super simple memory trick for the PTCB. Osteoblasts build bone, while osteoclasts crush old bone. This is so critical for understanding drugs for osteoporosis, things like bisphosphonates, which work by slowing down those crushing osteoclasts.
And this whole process of building and crushing and remodeling, it has a name, ossification. And it's not just how our bones form when they're babies, but it's also how they continuously repair and rebuild themselves throughout our entire lives.
So what do bones actually do? Well, there are 3 really crucial functions. First, of course, they provide support and shape. They also protect our vital organs. Think about your skull protecting your brain. And this is critical for pharmacy. They act as a mineral storage bank, especially for calcium, which is vital for bone strength and so many other functions in the body.
All right, so we have our bones, but how do they move? They can't do it on their own, right? That's where joints come in. They are the critical connection points that allow for all the amazing movement we're capable of.
Joints are basically classified by how much they can move. You've got immovable joints, like in your skull, and slightly movable ones, like between your vertebrae. But for your exam, the one you really need to focus on is diarthrosis, also known as synovial joints. These are the freely movable ones like your knee and shoulder, and they're the primary site for conditions like arthritis that we treat with so many common drugs.
Let's quickly break down 3 key synovial joints. You've got a hinge joint, like your elbow. It just moves back and forth in one direction, like a door hinge. A ball and socket joint, like your shoulder, allows for a huge range of motion. And a pivot joint, like the one in your neck, allows for rotation. See? Simple examples make these really easy to remember.
Now, let's talk about the engines that power all this movement, our muscles. If the skeleton is the frame of the car, then the muscles are definitely the engine that makes the whole thing go.
This table lays out the 3 muscle types you need to know perfectly. Skeletal muscle is voluntary. You decide to move it. Smooth muscle is involuntary. It's found in your internal organs, like your stomach, and it just works on its own. And cardiac muscle is also involuntary, but it's only found in one place, the heart. Knowing the control type, voluntary versus involuntary, is a huge exam point.
So how does a muscle actually move a bone? It happens through tendons. These are the tough, flexible cords that connect the muscle to the bone. When a muscle contracts, it pulls on the tendon, and the tendon then pulls on the bone, and poof, you've got movement.
Okay, we've covered the anatomy. Now for the most important part, the part that really brings it home. Let's connect this directly to your job as a pharmacy technician. This is the why behind everything you're learning today.
So, you might be thinking, why do I need to know about osteoblasts and synovial joints when I'm just filling prescriptions? Well, it's because the medications you dispense every day, from Fosamax to Celebrex, they directly target these exact systems to treat really common and serious conditions.
You will constantly be handling medications for these conditions. For osteoporosis, where bone density is low, you'll see bisphosphonates like alendronate, which is brand name Fosamax. For arthritis, which is that joint inflammation, you'll dispense countless NSAIDs like celecoxib, brand name Celebrex. For muscle spasms, you'll see muscle relaxants like cyclobenzaprine. This anatomy knowledge helps you understand how and why these drugs actually work.
All right, let's wrap this up with a rapid-fire review. This is where we lock in the most critical, high-yield points for your exam. Get ready. Okay, let's review the core concepts. Remember, 206 bones. The axial is your core, the appendicular is your limbs. Our memory trick: osteoblasts build, osteoclasts crush. That's the target for osteoporosis drugs. And remember, synovial joints are those movable ones that are often affected by arthritis.
And for muscles, know the three types: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac, and which ones are voluntary. Remember that tendons attach muscle to bone. Most importantly, connect all this back to the drugs. Link bisphosphonates to osteoporosis, NSAIDs to arthritis, and muscle relaxants to spasms. That's the level of connection you really need for the PTCB.
Fantastic job today. Seriously, breaking down a complex system like this is a huge step forward, and you are absolutely on the right track to passing that PTCB exam.
So what's next? Go back and review your notes from this session, rewatch any parts that were a little tricky, and just keep practicing those drug names daily. If this helped you out, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone else who's studying. We're posting new simplified pharmacy topics all the time to make this whole process easier. Keep learning. You've absolutely got this.